Hello, welcome back to Xanthus Gaming. We're here in Soulstone Survivors, and there is a new patch out. I am in the alpha version of it. It officially releases tomorrow. It goes from December 22nd until the beginning of January. If you guys want to check out the patch notes on it, they are available on the Discord. I will also link them in the description down below so you can read through all the changes. But there are a lot. So December 22nd through January 5th is this patch special event. Lots of new abilities, lots of new weapons, some hidden achievements that we'll have to try to find, which is pretty cool, and lots of balance changes. Basically, anyone who had a weapon before but only a single weapon instead of two, now they have two. Also, a lot of the underperforming skills have been buffed up. There's been a very minimal amount of nerfs to my surprise. I was actually expecting more things to be nerfed. There are a couple of nerfs in here, but not too many of them. A couple bug fixes for mechanics, so some abilities that are supposed to do bonus critical damage actually do that bonus critical damage before the critical multiplier, so that makes them much more effective. That's kind of cool. But anyway, this video is going to be a showcase of all the new skills that have been added in with this patch, and that's it. We're also going to do run-throughs on different heroes throughout the day. I'm going to record videos for those as well, and possibly start doing some build guides for some new setups, but that's kind of what we're looking at the moment. So you can see straight away we got a nice little background splash now with some candy canes and some presents. Very nice. We're going to start game. Moving on in, we have a Christmas or Yuletime themed background. Kind of cool. If we go through the different characters, you can kind of see the Paladin has a new weapon. The Chaoswalker has a new weapon. The Beastmaster has a new weapon. The Rogue has a new weapon. Assassin. The Elementalist has a new weapon. The Legionnaire has a new weapon. The Necromancer has a new weapon, and so does the Death Knight. So let's just go ahead and start off with the very first one, the Paladin. We're going to go on in there. These are the materials it takes to unlock. Obviously, I've played this game a heck of a lot, so materials are not going to be a problem for anything unlocking. So let's go ahead and just unlock this bad boy. Harbinger of Justice. It says it unlocks the Hammer of Justice ability. Throw a fast hammer forward, hitting enemies in a line and then coming back to you to your current position, causing 140 damage every time it goes through enemies. Damage is multiplied by 3 on critical strikes. So this is one of those abilities that got buffed up by that bug fix, so it should be pretty effective. So let's go into the character. Let's select the item. Let's go ahead and put on secret weapon just for the heck of it. Just in case there's any new secret weapons, we'll check that out as well. And let's pop on into the game. Alrighty, so loading on in for our Paladin setup. We are doing this on the highest difficulty. It does actually look like there is a new ability with the secret weapons as well, so that's cool. So we have our Hammer of Justice we just went over. There's also now a skill called Penance. Hurl a holy bolt at a random enemy, causing 230 damage, applying Disoriented and jumping to 8 additional enemies. Disoriented increases chance to receive critical strikes by 8% and 8% critical strike damage increase for 8 seconds. That's actually extremely good. It should be noted as well that lightning just got buffed for this character as well, the chain lightning. So a crit build could be very, very viable. Very interesting indeed. Let's see how it looks in action. Okay, so there's our hammer throw. Very nice. I'll turn up the spell opacity for you guys so you can see it in all of its glory. Okay, very nice. Okay, and let's see the chain ability. There it is. Okay, it looks kind of cool. It's like a chaining beam ability. I kind of dig it. Very nice, very nice. All right. Let's see if we can find any other hidden abilities for this character. There should be a few more because I believe they added 2 or 3 per class. Let me look real quick. Okay, so correction, it looks like they added 2 per class. So Hammer of Justice we just saw, and Penance we just saw. So I'm guessing each one of these is the secret weapon for the new weapon. So that's it for this guy. There are 3 just global unique skills as well. I'll do a playthrough and try to find those too so I can showcase them. But that's it for the Paladin. Let's go ahead and move on to the next class. Now, alrighty, next up we got the Chaoswalker. Let's go and select him, go into Blacksmith. pop on over to our Chaoswalker friend. Again, plenty of quartz, tin, and the weapon is called Artifact of Corruption. It gives us a 15% critical damage multiplier, minus 5% damage, 5% cast frequency, and 10% area. Interesting, I actually just realized we didn't look at what Paladin's weapon gave. Minus 15 health, 40% crit damage. Yeah, so it's definitely a crit build. And multicast, so if you're using this, you want to prioritize crit damage, and multicast. Groovy. Alright, back over to Chaoswalker. 5% cast frequency, less area modifier. That's interesting. Seeking chaos while the attack is channeled, you automatically launch 2 chaotic missiles that seek random targets, dealing random damage between 1 and 140. Of course, that's how all chaos abilities work, and applying a negative effect. If you're scared off by that, don't be. Chaos is extraordinarily strong. So that randomness, don't let it throw you off, because if you think about it, everything has randomness. Every spell cast has a random range. This one, the range just goes down to 1. So, all right. Describe any negative effect, yada yada. Chaos, missile, burst, and magical are the skill tags on it. Interesting. Paladin's skill tags for theirs were holy, swing, missile, frontal, and physical. Very cool. All right, let's go ahead and unlock that and see what that looks like in the game. There's our achievement for it. We'll of course put the secret weapon on. It doesn't look like it was on our last run, so throw that on and let's get on in there. All right, so actually it looks like on this gentleman, the secret weapon, oh, I chose the wrong ability, just kidding. 1 second, BRB, you didn't see that. True story, actually having the weapon selected is important. Okay, so it's a channel ability similar to the Pyromancer's channel ability. And it actually looks like the area of effect ability around him is also similar to the Pyromancer's ability. So same kind of setup as that Pyromancer setup. The difference here is that instead of just applying burn, we're applying all negative effects, and we are also getting a random damage range. So if I had to guess, I would say that this will be stronger than the Pyromancer version of the same thing, just because we have the potential to apply lots of random effects, including ones that you normally would not be able to apply, which is going to unlock synergy. So this looks like it would be a very, very strong ability. Let's go ahead and read what the area of effect ability says it does. Aura of Chaos. You emit an Aura of Chaos for 6 seconds, causing random damage between 1 and 112. By the way, there is a rune that makes it so it re-rolls it twice and takes the highest value. You definitely use that frequently with Chaos builds. And it applies a negative effect. It is Chaos, Lasting, Aura, and Magical. Yeah, definitely some good combinations possible. I mean, as you can see right here, Bloodlust shares Chaos, shares Lasting. So right there, you've just unlocked the ability to get, you know, global chaos, global lasting, that kind of stuff. So very good. That's very cool. I actually am really excited to try that out. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. All right, next up will be our Beastmaster. The Beastmaster is right here. We have Nature's Fury is the unlockable item for him. Interesting. Wild Strike. Strike enemies in front of you, dealing 300 damage and an extra 20% damage per summoned unit you control. Oh, nice. Okay. So all the builds I've done so far with Beastmaster have focused on basically dropping your initial swing weapon, just maximizing the amount of summons you have. But this incentivizes you to keep at least 1 copy of that swing weapon. I dig that. Nature Slam, frontal, and physical. This could end up becoming the de facto weapon for nature builds. Or for summon builds, for the Beastmaster anyway. Stats are minus 10 health, 30 power, 3% plus 3 damage reduction. That's, oh boy, that's extremely strong. The skill in the game that does damage reduction on a raw total like that is 2. It's extremely rare, and it is blue quality, but it is extremely rare. So getting plus 3 baseline damage reduction, that's massive. That's really good. Minus 5% cast frequency, right on. Okay, let's put on the secret weapon rune, and then we'll get on in there. Okay, it does seem like the load time's a lot quicker in this alpha too than on live, so that's kind of cool. All right, looks like the secret weapon for this is a summon, a boar summon. It looks like the actual ability is like a frontal conal ability. It looks very similar to shield wall or shield bash, but with a slightly different effect on it. Obviously, it's green, and it looks like behind it you summon a giant boar, which fits with the boars that you summon. So very cool. That actually could open up some very interesting possibilities. It does look like they're actually applying rot with their auto attacks, which is interesting because that's a chaining poison ability that's separate from regular poison. It's actually extremely strong. So rot being applied by your summons could be extremely good if you stack a bunch of those. All right, so the skill reads: summon 2 swamp boars to fight for you that apply rot when they attack. A maximum of 6 units can be active at any time. Rot deals 390 damage over 15 seconds. If the target dies, any remaining rot will spread to nearby enemies. The skill tags on this are nature, summon, magical, and physical. Okay, good to know. The wild strike summon tags are nature, or skill tags are nature, slam, and frontal and physical. Interesting. So you could potentially grab this ability, bring it into a different class by including slam or slam skill mastery. Cool. Or nature skill mastery as well. But yeah, that seems like it's gonna be very, very strong as well. Very cool. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next class on the chopping block. Alrighty, next up we got the assassin. Wonderful. Looks like curved daggers is our new forgeable weapon here. Curved daggers give us 20% critical damage multiplier. Makes sense with an assassin. Minus 15 pushback resistance. I believe that means that you can get knocked around easier rather than harder, unless I'm misreading that. That's actually a little bit of a problem because positioning on the assassin is very important. 10% damage multiplier, minus 10 armor. Also a little unfortunate because assassins are fairly squishy, and positioning again is very important. Twin dagger, you slash forward 2 times, causing a total of 100 damage and applying weakness. Applying weakness. Damage is multiplied by 5 if you're behind the opponent. Again, positioning is important. Weakness, increase all damage received by 6%, and the damage received from negative effects is increased by an extra 6%. So I could see a purity bleed build going very well with this. If you throw in rupture, which is the ability that knocks enemies down, including elites, it makes it much easier to position behind them so that you can get that bonus multiplier. I haven't actually done a run like that, but if I was going to, that's how I would do it. The shadow step is just a little too unpredictable, and a lot of enemies instantly pivot their looking location. So until they change that, until they add a little bit of delay, I don't think the shadow step is all that good. But let's go ahead and get on in there. Alrighty, looks like we've got Backstab actually is his secret weapon, which is one that already existed for him. So that's not new, which means we are not seeing the new one here, but that new ability looks really cool. Twin Daggers looks really neat. Okay, we're gonna play this run out just a little bit. I'm gonna build up a few skills and see if we can find that other new skill for him. I'm gonna pause and we'll cut back. I'm trying to keep this relatively focused. A little bit of extra commentary, but still relatively focused. Alright, so it's not a new ability, but Smoke Bomb looks like it actually got some new art on it. It looks like the new ability. Oh, it is actually Smoke Bomb. I swear Smoke Bomb was in the game before. They must have reworked it because this used to be on Houndmaster. Okay, so Smoke Bomb throws a bomb at a random enemy, applying bleed, slow, and enveloping the area in smoke for 8 seconds. Yeah, that is reworked for sure. Causing all your attacks on enemies inside the area to be considered as behind. Oh my god. Oh, hallelujah. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, that just solves the exact problem I was just talking about. That is Amazing. Okay. A little bit disappointing that it's not the secret weapon. There's exposed weakness. Wow, this would be a heck of a run. I already got like purple multicast, a purple area. Man, this would have been a really good run. Let's just kind of see this in action for a second. I did take Rupture. I am taking Subdue. I'm taking multicast on Thrust. Let's just kind of see this in action for a moment with the smoke bomb. You can see how it's hitting before the smoke bomb, right? And with the smoke bomb on, it's now going to consider us within behind range. And wow, he just evaporated. I stood in the death from the Reaper, but that doesn't really matter. Yeah, wow, that actually is absolutely game changing for the Assassin. The Assassin might be one of my favorite classes now. That's gonna be massive. There's so many build possibilities that are opened up by that. The problem of having to be behind them was such a big deal before, and this just like literally solves that. So that is so cool. I'm actually really like super duper excited. So my game just like lagged out, but that's fine. All right. Let's go and look at the next class. Alrighty, next up is the Elementalist. Let's go ahead and pop into the Blacksmith, select Elementalist. It looks like our weapon is the Scepter of Frost, so a Frost build. It should be noted Blizzard got buffed, Ice Vortex did get nerfed. But almost everything on the Frost side got much, much bigger, so that should be interesting. Let's go ahead and unlock this. Scepter of Frost, 5% critical damage chance, minus 10 armor power, 15% cast frequency, minus 5 movement speed multiplier. That's not a big deal. We can make that up really easily. So essentially we get 5 crit damage and 15% CDR. That's not bad. Severe Cold fires a ricocheting shot in the direction you're aiming that bounces around between targets until it has traveled a total of 60 meters. So essentially this is exactly like the Chaotic Missile for the Chaoswalker, except... No, actually it's exactly like the Chaotic Missile for a Chaoswalker. Okay, cool. Dealing 60 damage, applying slow every time it hits a target. So instead of applying a random debuff like the Chaos one does, it applies slow. That's fine. That makes sense with a ice build. Slow reduces movement speed by 20% for 8 seconds. The skill tags on this are Ice, Frontal, Missile, and Magical. Groovy. Yeah, that could be really interesting. Let's see what the secret weapon is. All right, it looks like, oh wow, that's okay, there's the missile. It looks like the other ability is like a Cone of Cold style blast. Very, very cool looking. This combined with the buffed area size on Glacial Hammer and the increased damage on Blizzard. This could be very, very strong. Cold had a little bit of an issue before. It could be okay. There were just so many options that were a lot stronger. It looks like they may have fixed some of those issues by giving us a few more ways to apply cold in a few different shapes. One of the problems before is almost everything was a circular area pattern, which was okay, but it did make it very hard to apply things from a range, which left you in a very vulnerable position when you're playing on the higher difficulties. And it does look like they've kind of addressed that by allowing somewhat of a range attack. And wow, they really buffed the size of Glacial Hammer. Holy cow. I know I did get an area modifier just now that made it a little bit bigger. But even still, that's huge. All right. So that is the new Elementalist weapon and secret weapon. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. They look like they could be pretty strong too. Next up is the Legionnaire, who I did finally figure out a build to clear max curse difficulty with him before I made this video. Haven't published it yet. That'll be coming out soon. Tune in for that. But let's look at his new weapon. That's neither here nor there, right? All right. Select Legionnaire. It looks like the new weapon is called Jupiter's Reach. Very nice. Okay, it's an electric weapon, which is interesting because almost everything else that he specializes in is physical bleed. So this is electric physical. So this might open up some new interesting build possibilities for him. Gives him negative 20 maximum health. That's a very big deal for a character that needs to be in melee. Hopefully Jupiter's Spear has a large range, or you can get it very big with area adjustments. 10% damage modifier, 5% cast frequency, and 10% multicast. So it looks like you're going for a multicast style build on this. Makes sense. Okay, let's go ahead and unlock that bad boy. And we'll definitely make sure we put on the secret weapon for him, and then we'll get on in there. Alright, so the secret weapon is Summon Infantry. Okay, so it's a summon, provides a distraction. Wow! Okay. Jupiter's reach is super ranged? Like, super ranged. But it's interesting because it throws a spear that impacts, and then after it, it looks like it does a chain lightning. You strike enemies in front of you, dealing 67 damage and creating a maximum of 4 lightning bolts that jump to 3 additional targets, causing 176 damage and applying dazed if possible. Dazed increases chance to receive critical strikes by 4% for 8 seconds. That's pretty good. Electric thrust, frontal and physical. Summon Infantry summons 6 powerful Legionnaires to fight for you, which also apply Dazed, so this is going to be a crit multicast build. Dazed increases chance to receive critical strikes by 4%. Very nice. If we could find a way to apply increased crit damage skill, weakness, I think it is. I don't remember. We were just talking about it on another ability or another character, but if we could find a way to work that in, that would make this pretty effective. So where are our infantry guys here? I'm not seeing them. Definitely seeing this ability. Looks like it's a long cast time. Maybe I killed them with the Reaper. There they are. Okay, I must have killed them with the Reaper. Okay, so it does look like it summons all 6 at once. That's cool. They do actually look like they are pretty strong. Very nice. Okay. So a possible summon build with Legionnaire. You can make a Spartan, what is that movie? 300 or 100? Disoriented. That's the ability. That's the debuff I was talking about. Increases the crit damage taken. You can see right there, we just like almost one-shot that elite between the Thunder Strike and our primary weapon. So pretty strong, obviously. But yeah, you can make like a 100 or 300 or whatever that movie is. You can make a build like that. You know, make it spear-based, makes those phalanxes come out with you. Could be pretty fun. Interesting thematic choice. But yeah, so that is our new abilities for this guy. And we're going to go ahead and look at the next one now. Let's just see what it looks like with a little extra area. Okay, so not massively different because it looks like that lightning just chains everywhere. So it's basically screen wide. That's really good. Okay, let's look at the next character. I recognize I find myself saying that's really good on a lot of these, but I honestly genuinely think they're really good. I had hesitancy with the assassin until I found out what Smoke Bomb did, and now I'm sold. It seems like they fixed a lot of the issues with the game with this patch, and I couldn't be happier, honestly. Life Harvester. All right, 20 armor power, 10% cast frequency reduction. So you lose 10% CDR, 10% movement speed modifier, and 3 health, plus 3 health per level up. Oh my. That makes the Relentless Rune insane. That means every time you gain a level, you essentially gain 1.5% damage increase. Alright, Unholy Bolt fires a shadowy projectile in the direction you are aiming at, piercing through enemies in a line and dealing 200 damage and inflicting doom on enemies. Dealing on enemies and healing 10 health on allies. So not only does it apply doom, but it also heals your summons. Very nice. Doom causes 100 damage after 5 seconds. Damage is increased with new applications and the duration is refreshed, of course. Everyone knows how Doom works. If Doom accumulates more damage than the target has health, it will be instantly executed. Skill types: Shadow, Missile, Frontal, Magical, and Physical. Lots of tags on that one. Means there could be some interesting possibilities for builds. Very good. Well, let's go ahead and select that weapon and get on in there and see what it looks like. Alrighty, let's have a look at what this looks like. Okay, so there's our bolts. that pierces and heals allies. Looks like our other ability is a frontal conal ability. There it is. Alright, let's read what the other skill does. Fires a shadowy blast in a cone in front of you, dealing 250 damage, applying doom to enemies, and increasing the cast frequency of allies by an additional 50%. Oh, interesting. So you basically apply a bloodlust on your allies. I do wonder if this stacks, because if it does, if you get enough CDR, you could stack a lot of cooldown reduction on your allies and just make them pop off. Interesting support ability, especially considering there is another skill that would allow you to do an AoE heal for your summons. So I could definitely see a build here where you get a lot of summons and you play the support healer buffer role and your summons do the majority of the damage. Pretty cool, interesting possibilities. Not sure if this one's quite as strong as some of the others. It's all going to depend on if that attack speed stacks or not. Because if it doesn't stack, then I don't know how good that really is. If it does stack, that's extremely good. It's kind of hard to tell with summons because you can't exactly pause and look at the attack speed on them. Yeah, they haven't added anything like that. But if they ever added something like that, it'd be easier to kind of quantify. But let's have a look at what it looks like with a summon in the mix. We'll go ahead and bloodlust them with a conal blast here. There it is. They're attacking fast. Like I said, it's really hard to tell, you know, if you're applying multiple stacks of it or not. But they are definitely attacking very quickly. So interesting. Definitely has possibilities. Time will tell if it's strong or not. I would lean towards it might be a little bit underpowered compared to the other ones that are in this patch. But we'll have to play it out in full build and see. Alright, and last but certainly not least is the Death Knight. Let's go ahead and look at his new weapon. This is the Greatsword of Doom. Groovy. Alright, plus 30 maximum health, plus 15% damage modifier, minus 10 cast frequency, minus 10 movement speed. That's actually not that big of... yeah, I don't think that's that big of a deal for Death Knight because he has 90% movement frequency to start. So essentially instead of 90%, he has 80%. I think that's okay. He can't dash though. So that is a decent downside. The ability itself says Unholy Aura. You emit a shadowy aura for 6 seconds, so it's that circular aura thing like we saw with the Chaoswalker and the Pyromancer, except for this one is shadow and doom based. You emit a shadowy aura for 6 seconds, applying doom to enemies that stay near you for every 0.5 seconds. Doom causes 40 damage after 5 seconds. Doom is increased with new applications. If Doom accumulates more damage than the target has health, it will instantly execute the target. So it should be noted that this is a lower amount of Doom application compared to the Necromancer version. How the debuffs work in this game is there's a baseline how much damage 1% Doom does, and it scales per ability. So like, for instance, the Necromancer might be 5% Doom and the Death Knight 3% Doom. It's hard to say what those exact numbers are until we see it on the wiki, but that's kind of how that works. All right, let's go ahead and pop in and see what this looks like in action. Hopefully I reselected the new weapon. I think I did. Yes, I did. Okay. So there is the aura. Very cool. And there's the new ability. Looks like a kind of a scythe throw sort of ability. That actually looks pretty cool. It looks like it does a decent amount of damage. Let's read what it actually does. Reap slashes targets in the direction you are aiming at, causing doom and curse stacks in an area to deal 200% of their damage instantly, removing the effects in the process. Oh. So it is essentially the detonate from subdue, except for it actually removes the stacks. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, it detonates these little enemies, but I feel like on bosses, that might actually be bad. Perhaps if you stack up enough applications of Doom, enough ways to apply it, it'll still be good. But one of the advantages of Doom is that you just stack up massive amounts until eventually, you know, you take a boss from 60% health to dead. So if we're detonated every time we're casting that ability, it might be some counterintuitive stat stacking on that ability to a point where you don't really want multicast for that because you just want to detonate it once, right? You don't want cooldown reduction because you don't want to be casting it super often. But you do want crit damage. You are going to want like straight up regular damage multiplier. You're going to want area of effect on it. Could make for a kind of interesting build setup. That might be one of the first things I try today once I actually start legit playing this patch now that we're finishing up this showcase. Has some interesting possibilities. The fact that it works with both Curse and Doom has me interested though, because I believe Curse deals damage. Damage is increased with new applications, and duration is refreshed. If Curse accumulates more damage than target has health, it will instantly execute the target. Yeah, and whenever Curse causes damage, 50% of the damage is dealt in an area around the target. So essentially, when you're detonating it with Reap, not only are you applying the Doom damage instantly and the Curse damage instantly, but you're also proccing an area of effect attack as well. Oof, certainly a complex feel to the build. I think it could be good. It'll be interesting to find out. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this skill showcase. If you did, make sure you like, favorite, share, subscribe, comment down below. As you may have noticed on the channel, we have quite a few build guides for this game. We have a few playthroughs as well. Those tend to not be doing as well as the build guides, so I've been kind of focusing my attention on the build guides. But if you guys do want to see playthroughs with commentary where I'm talking about why I'm making the skill choices I'm making, my thoughts on the power of different abilities, yada yada yada, do let me know in the comments down below, because it's certainly something we could do. But either way, make sure you subscribe and check back to the channel regularly for more Soulstone Survivors content, as well as other Bullet Heavens ARPG survival games, and just a smattering of other things. Hey, I'm ADHD, deal with it. All right, thanks for being here. Take care. See you guys later.